Hey guys, welcome to the show. We got a great one lined up for you today. If you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Like I said, we got a great one lined up for you today. BALLBUSTERS Live, episode 41. Soundly jailed, found guilty of fraud and numptiness. So we're going to convict him here today, and then we're going to put that to bed. So, BALLBUSTERS, assemble! What do we got out there?
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
Hello. Good evening.
We got some BALLBUSTERS in the house. All right. Way to show up on time, guys. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's going on, John? How you doing today?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. How's it going there in Georgia?
All right. I think that's my usual answer.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Yeah, it
what
is.
It usually is.
There's
It's either hot, raining, or a mix of both. So
Yeah. It seems a lot of people would complain about the heat out there. There's a lot of heat in the Netherlands, correct?
Yep. Although it's kind of cooled down now. The wind is blowing pretty much all day long, and the sun's kind of gone, and so it's kind of nice and fresh right now.
Outstanding. How about in England?
Yeah, it's a bit muggy, but it's hot. Same as everywhere else by the sound of things.
Yeah. Hot and muggy. We're in the dog days of summer now. What's up, Adam, sir?
Evening, everyone. Yeah. Breezy and a lovely, balmy evening. Yeah. Sorry for being a little late, mate. I just, thank God for that intro. Got there in time.
yeah, it's fashionably late. It's fine out there. How's everyone out there doing watching the show? Everyone let us know in chat, man. We want to know your weather.
Doing great. Subscribe to Nathan Oakley.
He's ace.
I want snowstorm report from South Africa and such. Where are they?
Yeah, no storms out there. All right, gentlemen.
Winter out there, right?
Yeah, where in South Africa?
Should be. Like all over there.
Yeah.
In the south, right? It's summer over here, so it should be winter over there on the other side of the equator.
That's great. I was going to take some ski trips to South Africa. That's what I always wanted to do.
I don't know if they got that, but
You're the side presupposition, implying we've got antipodal positioning when we go the other side
of the equator. I avoided it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Took a lot of good skiing trips over the years. Mainly the best one that I ever had since we're on skiing. Somebody brought it up. Probably me. Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Shout out to you guys out there, man. It was my best skiing vacation ever. Absolutely outrageous, man.
Interesting skiing story. Went to Switzerland. My brother married a Swiss woman, and prior to them getting married, they took us skiing or snowboarding. And everything's obviously in Swiss German, so I didn't understand a lot of the stuff written down. But at some point, they gave out a load of invitations, and on the invitation, it said beach party. I just assumed that was something that was lost in translation. Obviously, we're on the top of a mountain. Not going to be a beach party. It's just a translational thing. Anyway, we go to the beach party. The moment they open the doors, they've got everywhere draped in rubber, and they're spraying you with water and alcohol the moment you walk through the door to force you to strip. So you go in on the top of a mountain. It's absolutely sweltering. It's 40 degrees in there, boiling hot. You have to strip off all of your outdoor clothes, and suddenly there is sand on the floor, and you're at the top of a mountain covered in snow having a beach party. It was the most surreal experience I've ever encountered. It was weird as hell. But there you go. That's the Swiss Germans for you.
That is strange. I never heard anything like that in my dang life. How about any skiing stories from you, Adam? In the Midlands of the eastern part of the Midlands. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate that. How about skiing in Georgia?
I haven't found any ski slopes out here yet, but I'll keep an eye out.
Skiing on the red clay.
Yeah, on the red dirt skiing. Yes.
The point was that those who are in sweltering weather, and I like hot weather, I think it's nice. Long for ski slopes, and those on ski slopes long for hot weather. It's just one of those things.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, the most outrageous
Grass
one
is
I went
always
to.
greener.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
I was gonna say, the grass is always greener on the other side.
I
like
was
they
just
say.
thinking that. Yeah, the grass is always greener, right? Yeah. So back to my outrageous story. We drove up there from Fort Collins, and we got caught in a snowstorm going through the passes to get the steamboat. They closed the pass behind us, right? So we were in the middle of a massive snowstorm going through the passes up the steamboat. It was surreal. Absolute outrageous. The first time I ever went skiing was a steamboat. That's where I learned how to ski. It was so beautiful up there, and the champagne-like snow that they have. I'll never forget it. Left an impression on me. But went out to California and skied many times up at Mammoth Mountain in the Sierra Nevadas. Dude, when it snows there, it doesn't play. It drops like 3 to 6 feet at a pop. That's how outrageous out at Mammoth is. I'm sure it's still. I still get emails from them talking about their friggin' snow drops. Unbelievable, man. Never forget it. Loved it. And I'm sure that's why everyone came today, is to listen to ski stories.
What's the elevation of that
Definitely.
ski resort?
The Sierra Nevada. I'd have to go check.
Must be pretty high mountains, right, to have that kind of snow drop?
Yeah, 11, 12 grand. In Colorado, you can get up in the 14ers. My wife used to hike up the 14ers in Colorado. She used to live there back in the day. Yeah, I'd have to check on Mammoth. I can't remember. It almost blew me off the top of the mountain one day. I went to the complete top, standing on the highest top that they had there at Mammoth, and just a windstorm, and I was trying to keep myself on the ridge, and it just wasn't happening. It was just blowing me off. That was fun, man. A lot of fun. And people would freak out at the gondola, right? Because if that wind would blow the gondola, it would be like a straw in a friggin' hurricane. Yeah, they'd get off, faces pale white. Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, first time I got off, I remember sitting on a ski lift with my wife, and she was always giving me instructions, right, on how to get off the seat. When the seat comes and right before you make the turn, just to ski off. Yeah, but I didn't know how to ski. So she got up, I held on to her, right, and then it was all over from there, right into the damn fence. Both of us. I took her with me. Yeah, I loved it, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Right into the fence.
Yeah,
Nice.
four ski vacations later, I was doing black diamonds, man. Yeah, loved it. Loved skiing. I caught it late in my life, even though I lived in a skiing area growing up. Never did a whole lot of skiing, a lot of other snow sports, but caught on to skiing late in my life. But I'm just thankful that I caught it, before I took up the rocking chair. Sweet. All right, what else, man? Before we get going on soundly, because this is going to be, I hope he comes. I sent out a lot of invitations to him. We got a seat for you here, soundly, for you to defend. I don't know how you're going to defend this. You're not going to be able to recover. If anyone entertains you, even listening to you talk about the air pressure in your tire, they have to be insane after this is over.
Yep.
And this isn't about your frigging pictures. I already dealt with them back in 2017. Mr. Planet Orleans Parish. Yeah, we ain't going to deal with any of your tower pictures or bridge pictures. We're not going to, that was already been done dealt with. Any Soundly stories from the group before we get started?
If anybody in 2020 is still looking at those Pontchartrain pictures and thinking that's the curve of the Earth, I think you need to talk to somebody like a professional, like seriously, because I didn't even believe that was an actual argument when I got into this like almost 4 years ago. I was like, nah, people don't really think that's the curve of the Earth. Like, really? But they do.
Yes,
I was
they-
like, okay, I've entered crazy world.
Yes, they do. They do believe it because he put it out there and he Jedi mind tricked all the Baltards and they just went right along with it.
Right. I got a Soundly story.
Go ahead.
When was it? 3 or 4 years ago? At the beginning of the Flat Earth debate, when the whole story with the Isle of Man was going around for a very long time. Okay, at some point he invited me on his hangout, and I didn't even know for sure who he was back then. I was just like, okay, this is probably a baller. Let's just see what happens, just like that. And he tried to basically compare these two wireframe models that he had created in his 3D program. Like, yeah, this is the flat Earth model, and this is the globe model. See, flat Earth model doesn't make any sense. I'm like, dude, what is like this guy he is into machinations, like he is into programming shit with formulas and stuff. Like, yeah, that creeped me out. So I basically I didn't really know how to respond as well as I would now, but I still gave him a bit of a whooping and then left. So that is how I got to know Soundly back then. Like, yeah, he always was kind of a wizard. Like really playing around with his machinations.
Anyone else? Any Soundly stories,
Yeah.
personal ones?
Yeah, he's a wizard. Like I said, if you can convince somebody that what you're looking at in that picture is the curve of the Earth, yes, you are definitely a wizard. Okay? Because that's ridiculous. But yeah, well,
Nathan, any run-ins with Soundly? I don't think we've talked about any.
I'm pretty sure Soundly's been on Flat Earth debate, hasn't he? I honestly can't remember.
I don't think so. Has he ever been on? Anyone? No, I don't. Go ahead.
I don't think directly.
if
Maybe
he
not.
has, it was a long
He
time
has been
ago,
in chat and
but
everything.
I can't recall a specific time. And I'm pretty good with my memory, but I don't remember him ever on.
It's
Well,
my
he's-
bad. I mean, one Andy Zealot's the same as the next to me, so they all blur into one.
Yeah, but
Wait,
he's...
if I remember, sorry,
yeah.
if I remember correctly, sorry. I'll
No,
start.
go ahead, Arwen.
All right. If I remember correctly, I think he actually used to pop into the back panel, remember, in the open days after the show was over. Then he would come in, just like some other people, when they would hang around after the show was done and then try to do some stuff. I think he was hanging around there back then, and he would never come onto the show, but he would come in afterward and talk to those who hung around.
Well, we're talking about globe Earth royalty here, folks. I'm not lying to you. I was briefed back in, you know what, I don't know whether it was the middle of 2017, because I was looking for people to have discussions with. And I put it out. I said, listen, I'm searching for one of the high top globers. And I was advised that Soundly was the high of the high globe priest at that time. I couldn't believe it myself. I said, you're joking, right? They said, nope. And they were in the back channel, so they knew. So we're talking about globe Earth royalty here, folks. I don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah. It's certifiable, too.
Well, he's the man who provided pictures that made the curve of the Earth look like a paper towel roll. So yeah, why not?
Yep. And he went missing there for about 8 or 9 months. No one heard from him. But now he's recently come back on the scene over the past, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. He was on Jose GG Retard show. And then I heard a couple times on, the show Spurs does. So I caught him a couple times on there and I said, well, thank you for coming back. I mean, welcome. Make yourself at home, and I'm going to take you to the woodshed because I know stupid stuff is going to continuously diarrhea out your mouth. I knew it's coming, and it came. Thank you very much. So we're going to start off. Mike, discipline, please. Unless someone's got anything to add before we get going. No? Good. This is going to start off. I heard, I got a hold of Soundly. I think it was when he came out with the transmission lines. That was the first time I heard of Soundly. So I think it was the second day right after that. And I jumped over on his YouTube channel. And that's when everyone used to comment back then. And I made some comments. And I challenged him with what you're looking at right on the screen right here. What's your scientific evidence for your Surfer Earth fairy tale? He wasn't Mr. Planet Orleans Paris just then. And this was his response, folks. Hypothesis, the Earth is a sphere. Null hypothesis, the Earth is flat. That's it. That's what I got. That's when I knew right there that this was going to be a tear-jerking belly laugher. Because this guy's a moron. Dunning-Kruger type, a 1 each. And let us get going. Hold on to your hats, folks. And watch your IQs because you're going to be losing some IQ points. Numpty dipshit Soundly, Mr. Planet Orleans Parish. 16 May 2020.
Wait, what's the globe Earth formula then? Maybe I got it wrong. I thought it was 8 inches per mile squared.
Well, I have a video on that if you want to go watch it. 8 inches per mile squared is an estimation. That's not the actual curve of the Earth. No.
Oh, really? George the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia, 3 days earlier.
There's a common misconception, Tim and Professor Bell, regarding this 8 inches per mile squared. If you take the chord distance between the two endpoints, it's exact, no approximation.
Seems like we got a problem in Retardia. So we have Soundly, the Geo Whisperer. We're not going to get into that. That was back in the day. 8 inches per mile squared is an estimation. It's not the actual curve of the Earth. Then Georgie Tatanka, but this was 3 days earlier. The 8 inches per mile square, it's exact. No approximation. We got a little problem here in Narnia. The chief high priest of the globe Earth doesn't know his religion or any of the fundamentals of his religion. I'm almost speechless. Conclusion, Soundly, a globe-tard high priest, is absolutely clueless, like I said, of the mere fundamentals of his religion. He's a fraud. That's it. This is tantamount to Mahatma Gandhi exclaiming that Chairman Mao, that's Mao Zedong, was creator God. That's how stupid this is. Can you believe it? I can't. Let's roll. I'll play the shorter ones twice. The longer ones I won't, just to save time. Here we go.
That's the thing. Like, why don't they do that? So this seems like it seems like such a massive priority in their life that, man, they're hiding all this information from us. It's so important. Everybody needs to know this. Well, then why don't you just do the work? Put the work in, but they don't. They just talk about it. They talk about weird experiments like with sticks. They go off into a tangent line into space. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. Like, why don't they do that? So this seems like such a massive priority in their life that, man, they're hiding all this information from us. It's so important. Everybody needs to know this. Well, then why don't you just do the work? Put the work in, but they don't. They just talk about it. They talk about weird experiments like with sticks. They go off into a tangent line into space. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Flat earthers talk about weird experiments with sticks. I mean, What? Oh, by the way, I should say something about this Geo Whisperer, just in case there's some new people out there. There was an occasion when Anthony Riley was having a discussion with Geo Streber, Mr. Masters of Science in Chemistry, as if, I don't know, from Elmer Fudd Institute. And he caught Soundly giving advice to him in the background. So we termed him, that was a couple years ago, we termed Soundly the Geo Whisperer, just to let everyone know. So, Soundly the Geo Whisperer, it seems like, such a massive priority in their life that, man, they're hiding all this information from us. It's so important, everyone needs to know this. Well, then why don't you do the work? Put the work in, but they don't. They just talk about it. They talk about weird experiments like with sticks. They go off on a tangent line into space. It doesn't make any sense. So this is what you typically get nowadays when these guys get together. They give color commentaries of the situation to everyone. That's it. That's all I got is color commentaries based on their photos from NASA, right? They can't use Soundly photos because everyone knows they're a joke. But that's all it's, if you listen in on their conversations now, they're all just incoherent Elmer Fudd color commentaries that they give. Just like this one right here. So number one, there's 3 stereotype fallacies, there and they times 3, that makes it 4, which invariably leads to either a straw man, baseless assertion, and or conjured anecdotal fallacies. This is the case with every single stereotype fallacy. And guess what? You have all 3 right here. And number 2, delusional projection. Weird experiments with sticks. Isn't it the ballers that make up these weird experiments with sticks from Eratosthenes that didn't use sticks? I don't know. That's what I thought. I've been hearing that for 5 years or 4.5 years. He's delusional. So conclusion, fallacious, delusional, projectionist, plus fraud. See above, we already established a fraud up here. If this doesn't scare you, folks, I don't know what does or what will.
So, Stanley, what you're saying is you're showing the geometric curvature of the Earth. Got your picture on screen now. I'm looking at your image on screen now. But you're saying that's the geometric... This is not a refracted curve. This is the actual physical curvature of the Earth, Soundly.
We've already shown you that, Kima.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it right now. I'm saying that the curvature that you're showing... I'm asking that
I'd like to stop this right now. Sorry about the feeble over-talking color. Another color commentary, right? Obfuscation from Brian, the Peckerhead Peckerwood, to save Saint Soundly. But I couldn't get him out of there. Let's continue.
I'm just clarifying. You went away, Soundly, so it can't be true. It's a tactic. It's nothing related to work. You've been away since the Black Swan, Soundly. So I'm not sure if you're aware. We've been trying to locate the physical geometric horizon. So I'm just asking, are you saying the image? Oh, you can't see what I'm seeing. That I'm looking at on screen. One of yours, I think. Yeah, I'm just finding out from Stanley if that is the geometric physical curvature of the Earth.
Well, we already showed you it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm just asking. Yeah, I'm just clearing up because I haven't spoke to you since the Black Swan. You see, you ran away just before the Black Swan. So I'm just clarifying.
I keep hearing people talking about the Black Swan. Why don't you tell me what that is, Kima?
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify now. I'm just asking: is the image, that image that I posted that you've shown, is that the physical geometric curvature of the Earth?
How many times do you want me to say?
Because
we already showed you that a year ago. That's what Jesse's measurements show.
Fantastic.
That is the physical curvature. Yes.
Yeah, because we've just been told now. We've been told lately that the horizon is not physical. The curvature is not of a physical nature. You could never see the physical curvature or measure it because the horizon is apparent, Stanley. So can you clear up any confusion? Did you actually measure the physical...
You're actually
Can you just clear up for me? Did you actually
there's no such thing. There's no such thing as
Uh-huh.
whatever you just said about the horizon, the geometric horizon, whatever that is you just said is just word soup. It doesn't mean anything.
Did you hear that, folks? Did you hear what he said? Let me play that last part again. The other part's a little too long. Hold on 1 second.
Whatever you just said about the horizon, the geometric horizon, whatever that is you just said is just word soup. It doesn't mean anything.
So, do you hear that now, folks? You got one of the high priests of the globe-tard religion, and he doesn't know what the geometric horizon is. Let that sink in for a couple seconds, because that's all it should take. And he always, every time he gets into trouble, he categorizes a word salad or word soup. That's his incoherent get out of jail free card. So, Spurs, we've been trying to locate the physical geometric horizon. I'm just asking you if you're saying in the image, is that the geometric physical curvature of the earth? Soundly, that is the physical curvature, yes. There is no such thing as whatever you just said about the horizon, the geometric horizon. Whatever it is, whatever that is you just said, it's just word soup. It doesn't mean anything. Folks, like I said, you got the globe-tard high priest has never heard of the geometric horizon. He just admitted it. He's going to do it again here in a few minutes. And therefore thinks it doesn't mean anything and it's word soup. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what in the flying Fukuyama is going on here? Judge, I move to indict most Ricky Tick. Charge Mr. Magoo, dumbass, cracker, pretender, clown, fraud of the millennium. Conclusion, numpty fraud. I mean, what are you going to say to this? Let's just kill it right here. I could stop right. In fact, I could have stopped at the first one, but where's the fun in that? Let's do the last one before we take a break. Listen to him, folks.
You're saying geometric horizon. Can you explain what geometric horizon is? You're saying geometric horizon. Can you explain what geometric horizon is? You're saying geometric horizon. Can you explain what geometric horizon is?
The prosecution rests. Because everything from this point is just gravy. Questions, comments?
I really like the projection part. Well, they've got these crazy experiments with sticks and shadows. Have we now? Is that so?
I think Soundly wins the Doublethink Award of 2020 so far. He's put the whole geometric horizon down the memory hole.
Bro.
Spurs.
I thought the sticks
No,
part
bro.
was pretty bad because, like Chewy said, 4 years we've been hearing about sticks in the ground, sticks in wells, and it's always them. So that's cute projection, but the geometric horizon, whatever that is, what you just said, that word salad, what? Bro, Sally, my dude, are you out of your mind?
Yeah. Yep.
I can't even. Go ahead, Adam, somebody.
Can't believe it, Chocolate. Talking heavy straight away. Unbelievable. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
Thought Spurs said it well. You ran away, Sally, and I don't mean that in a way, but it is something. It is long-standing proof that Swan just. How does he deal with that? Other than he saw there was saying, "Oh, that's just word soup." Interesting response because it is. What their Spurs put him is, well, what is that curve then? That the physical curve, and it's brilliant.
He went away and came back. And when he went away, everybody, all his followers and stuff, thought that he showed the curve of the Earth, aka the geometric horizon, right? And then he goes away and he comes back, and all his side has said we don't see it. So Yeah. I don't know where you go from there, but now he's got to explain why this thing everybody thought they saw, he comes back into the argument and nobody's seen it. We don't see it. We don't measure it. Can't see it because we have an atmosphere. It's tough times.
No. I think you're. No, I'm sorry, you're missing it. He doesn't know what the geometric horizon is. He's never heard of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but back when he was in the argument, they called it the curve of the Earth. That's the problem. That's what he doesn't get.
He discontorted that. He discontorted that little factoid or saying that they used to use from the concept of geometric horizon. So I think I'm not far off saying he put it down the memory hole.
Yeah, he has to, because he showed the curve of the Earth. He didn't show the geometric horizon. Like John said, he doesn't know what it is. Whatever you just said, whatever that is. What?
Yeah, but you have putting down the memory hole, and you have putting down the memory hole. You know, like Rumpus put it down the memory hole, but halfway. He kind of like backtracked and worked around it.
Yeah.
No, this guy, soundly, he literally forgot everything about it.
Yeah, this is like a hockey player not knowing what a goalie is.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just put this to bed. He doesn't appreciate that when we say the geometric horizon, that's a very specific geometric term for the tangent point that is their horizon. When I say in housekeeping, formerly known as Earth curve, because it's not obvious to everybody what the geometric horizon we're referring to is. It's Earth curve. That's what it is, soundly. Just in case you weren't aware, I'll tell you. The geometric horizon, that's Earth curve, mate. When you say this word salad, also the tenets of your religion.
Yeah. That's the scary part, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Shout out to Betty, who's on the back nine of the midget golf course. Shout out, girl. We miss you. Hopefully she'll get done sometime this afternoon. Be back with us. Go on.
Yeah, the weird experiments with sticks. Like, what's that about, guy? But where did this guy go that he came back all crazy? I don't understand. Why would he even say that? That's projection 101 right there. Like, sticks in the ground. You believe sticks in the ground.
Yeah, that's the first problem.
Whatever the hell.
Yeah, that's the first problem.
Like, what?
But wait a second. Where did they get the sticks from? Eratosthenes didn't use any sticks. Some dumbass baller brought this up, and then they all parroted it, and they all ran with it. They don't know what they're talking about. They just bring up, it's always one word or a phrase, right? To any argument, because they have no depth. So it's either bagak, refraction, bagak, gravity, bagak, you don't understand, bagak, cherry picking, bagak, Eratosthenes, right? If you listen, just listen closely, it's only one phrase. And then they just make shit up after that. That's all they do. Now they're into the color commentaries. That's all it is. This is a joke. Ready to move on? Oh, like I said, the rest of this is gravy because he's indicted, folks. It's over. I rest my case right here. This is just for fun, just for kicks. Let's roll.
So when you showed your images of the buildings missing at the bottom, yeah, that was the horizon, the geometric horizon. So you were measuring from your observer to the horizon and then telling me how much of the building should or shouldn't be seen based on the curve calculator, which is 3959, right? The radius? No? That changed since the Black Swan?
Are you trying to calculate where the horizon should be distance-wise from the observer based on a globe with no atmosphere? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't think he was trying to say that. So, Soundly, are you trying to calculate where the horizon should be distance-wise from the observer based on a globe with no atmosphere? Is that what you're trying to say? No, Soundly. Nobody with a competent faculty of reasoning would try to calculate the horizon in Narnia with no atmosphere. Number one, Narnia, the globe, doesn't exist. And number two, even if it did, it still has an atmosphere, which is an oxymoron. Psst, everyone is breathing. However, Booby al-Biruni did calculate the radius of Narnia. That's the globe. Newsflash, the one you mindlessly parrot today, that radius, that came from al-Biruni, not Mr. No Sticks Eratosthenes. And he measured from a horizon with an atmosphere, which is an oxymoron. What up with that?
Okay, let's take a look.
The horizon is not physical in the sense that it's like it's a thing that just stuck there permanently. The horizon it's basically where the Earth starts obstructing your vision, and it's based on you. It's based on where you're located.
Okay, let's take a look.
The horizon is not physical in the sense that it's like it's a thing that just stuck there permanently. The horizon it's basically where the Earth starts obstructing your vision, and it's based on you. It's based on where you're located.
So, soundly, GeoWhisperer, the horizon is not physical in a sense that it's like it's a thing that's just stuck there permanently. The horizon it's basically where the Earth starts obstructing your vision. Number one, can you stutter like an ignorant babbling buffoon some more to increase confidence that you know what you're talking about? Number two, the local horizon from National Geographic, also called the geometrical horizon, is the visible boundary between the earth and sky. Number three, non sequitur fallacy number one, just because something is not stuck somewhere permanently, it doesn't ipso facto make it non-physical. To say it another way, when something moves, it's still a something. Okay? Physical. Number four, non sequitur fallacy number two. So the horizon is not physical, but it obstructs your vision, eh? Can you show an obstruction that's not physical to lend some modicum of credence to your inane bollocks? Forgive me, claim, por favor. And number five, this is absolutely classic. Non sequitur fallacy number three. You said the horizon is not physical and then said it's where the earth obstructs your view. Therefore, according to you, the earth it is not physical, according to you, from your statement right there. The horizon is not physical, and then it said it's where the earth obstructs your view. Then the earth, therefore, must not be physical. You see, folks, when you're a lying numpty sewer rat, it's impossible to keep your story straight and retain logical consistency without contradicting yourself with every friggin' breath. Right? If you ever lied, you know what I'm talking about. Conclusion. Soundly is a stuttering, muttering, logically fallacious buffoon. Demonstrated.
So, I mean, sadly, like I say, it's not like we're trying to be awkward with you or anything like this. Just the idea is that the Black Swan has changed everything about the way we see the horizon, the way we look at the atmosphere, and essentially the way that we look at the Earth in front of us.
Same old chemo with that word salad.
Here we go again with that word salad, right? Because you don't want it. You're backed into a corner just with that little statement of his. Let's hear it again.
So, I mean, sadly, like I say, it's not like we're trying to be awkward with you or anything like this. Just the idea is that the Black Swan has changed everything about the way we see the horizon, the way we look at the atmosphere, and essentially the way that we look at the Earth in front of us.
Same old chemo with that word salad.
Wow, that was just a lot of word salad for you, right? It's pathetic. Spurs. It's not like we're trying to be awkward with you or anything. Like, it's just the idea that the black swan has changed everything about the way we see the horizon, the way we look at the atmosphere, and essentially the way we look at the earth in front of us. Soundly, same old chemo with that word salad. What Spurs Chemo said, which everyone heard, everyone is looking at right now, was clear, concise, and a complete thought and sentence. I know why you don't understand it. He didn't lie and contradict himself at least twice, so it's friggin' foreign language to you. What an embarrassment. So the next two volleys concern these pics from our old friend Bo, BMLSB69. And this is what Spurs had up in the hangout that he and Soundly were talking about. Right? So Spurs, what he did was showed this photo. And that's what I'm telling people to do now. Just show a photo, because what is the baller's explanation for this, right? Obviously, they're going to say, well, the second platform is blocked because of Earth curvature. They have to. That's what their religion is. And obviously, this is what this picture's showing, right? Like I said, typical ball-tard, the second platform is clearly obstructed due to Earth's curvature. Physical curvature. We would say, poppycock bollocks, this is merely an optical phenomenon, right? Whoopsie! You see this? Well, the next day, the same location, the same observer height, this photo was taken. So they're caught. We better say, did the Earth's radius physically change from yesterday? Right? Say it. Typical ball-tard, you know what they're going to say. Refraction. That's their one-word savior. We always hear it. But wait a second. You said yesterday that the obstruction with respect to the second platform was physical Earth curve. Not a whisper of refraction. Now it's refraction. Gotta be. An optical phenomenon. Yeah. The flat Earth argument from the frigging beginning. Thank you. Please define flailing ad hoc hypothesis. And by the way, welcome to flat Earth. There's the exact photo that they were showing in the hangout. And like I said, it's from BMLSB69. Same exact location, elevation, just different days. Set. They're done for. Now, one of my favorite parts. I haven't busted this out. We talked a little bit about it. I think last week. But pay close attention to this, folks. This is from Andrew Thomas Young, San Diego State University Astronomy Department. He's the subject matter expert, as we all know. Listen to this. So far, we have ignored refraction and drawn the line of sight to the apparent horizon as the straight line OG. But in the real world, there's some terrestrial refraction between the observer and the horizon. The line of sight to the apparent horizon is not straight, but curved. So let's try to allow for that curvature. Oh boy, Andrew, you got yourself in a pickle now. Number one, so a curved line of sight. Really, Andrew? Which is batshit insane on its face. However, let's grant your bollocks. Does that mean the Earth's curved? We got a line of sight that's curved and the Earth's curved. We got double your pleasure curve, huh? Number two, apparent horizon, painfully redundant. Number three, begging the question fallacy. You just invoked terrestrial refraction right up here, brother. You got a problem, right? Why? Because this is stone cold begging the question fallacy. Does light refract? Yep. Is that the same that can be accounted for by terrestrial refraction? Answer, no. Keyword terrestrial. You see, terrestrial refraction already assumes a sphere, Andrew. That is, the calculations assume the radius of the Earth curvature. You said it right here yourself. From Andrew Thomas Young. The atmosphere is also curved. Gases don't take curve. They don't take shapes. as it follows the shape of the Earth. In the calculations below, we'll adopt the rough value of 6,400 kilometers as the radius of curvature to make the calculation simple. You're assuming the premise, the atmosphere is curved, which is tear-jerking belly laugher, then by proxy, Earth curvature, to prove the conclusion true. The curved line to the horizon. That's a textbook begging the question fallacy, circular banjo do-si-do, besides being a non sequitur fallacy. This is a joke. This is a circle. This is abject buffoonery, folks. In conclusion, listen to this carefully. You cannot invoke terrestrial refraction, which at its foundational roots has R, ascertained by Bubbi al-Biruni, who based his calculations on a non-refracted horizon to calculate the geometric radius of the Earth, to explain a line of sight to the apparent horizon that is not straight but curved, and a refracted horizon using that frigging R. Because this, folks, isn't just your average circle jerk. It instantly becomes the colossal, convoluted, circumdicular, crossway crackhead cretin circuitous crankshaft of the cycloidal psychotic centillium. This, folks, is abject nonsensical buffoonery from the Black Lagoon. It's just one big circle jerk. Now, if I went through that too fast, just go back and re-listen to it. Okay? It's over for him. For Andrew Thomas Young. You want me to stop? Let's stop right there. Comments, questions?
The soundly called word salad or whatever, word soup to Spurs. I just want to break that down for him. So you did a very good job anyway, but I want to reiterate it. In the first breath of the statement, he's saying the horizon's not a physical location. And his second statement, voiced in the same breath, says that it's blocking things. So Spurs has then explained that the way we view the horizon has now changed, and clearly, soundly recognises that by his own contradiction. Can't have something be non-physical, never to be seen, and physical geometric blocking boats and buildings. Can't be both. It's what the Black Swan has done. Left you in a position with glaring contradiction. And one minor correction. So, in terms of it meaning that we don't see the Earth, he said, well, we don't see a globe Earth in reality. The globe Earth horizon only exists in the maths. Does not exist in reality. When they try and juxtapose what we do see in reality, that would be what they are calling the apparent, as you say, painfully redundant. All horizons are apparent, i.e. they're a visible location, visible point between land or sea and sky. It's not an actual location because the land or sea doesn't meet the sky. It's visual, apparent, meaning you can see it. So to say it's the apparent position where the sky meets the sea or land is redundant. Nevertheless, air horizon, the geometric horizon, the one that soundly didn't really understand was Earth curve, only exists in their maths. Is never to be seen, never to be measured, and therefore cannot simultaneously not be seen, not be capable of measurement, and also block boats and buildings. It's the implosion of the assertion that we have Earth curve, also known as the geometric horizon. Thank you.
Thank you. Adam, anything?
Through the bit at the end, really. It's funny, isn't it? If you assume the Earth's curved, and light curves to match it, you can take this straight stuff later and prove that it's curved.
Circumdicular geometry.
It's just fucking, isn't it? When you look at it there, and then, as you say with Bubbi, the foundational starting point is corrupted by its very nature that they then try to use. It's it's either a case of eating your cake and eating it, or it's honesty. Okay, inflammatory. I hide it with offal. Out that there is no substance to your starting point.
Exactly. He's just making stuff up. And when you do that, when you make stuff up, and I don't know if he's lying, I don't think he's smart enough to lie. You're going to contradict yourself with every other breath, and that's what he's done so far. All right, listen. Hey, I want to shout out a couple super chats from Unicorn Laser Eyes. He says, time to lock up unsoundly in stupid jail and throw away the key. And Gordzilla, take my money, sir. You do great work. Thank you very much. I will continue. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, sorry, I missed out on those. I completely missed that.
Not a problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he threw that circumdicular in there for you.
Yeah, I was pretty astounded. Like, thank you. That's a great honor that you actually used it in your rant. Really appreciate it.
Do you remember the context? Can you say it?
The whole thing? God, no.
Nah, I can't.
The colossal.
I want to point out
the circumdicular is definitely a part of what they do. You know, it's how they make straight lines into curved lines, into globular lines. You know, and it's part of their daily life, part of their daily twisting.
Yeah, but did you hear the double speak to Andrew Thomas Young when he says, "But in the real world, right, we'll just adopt the little radius here." So we can do what we got to do, right? Like, how ridiculous is that, man? They just adopt radius as needed. You can't adopt the radius, salvage the radius you didn't have in the first place.
But the poor radius is an orphan, you know. You can't just let the radius die. You
What
gotta adopt it,
radius?
you know. Exactly. So they gotta adopt it, or it'll die.
The radius they got from the refracted horizon.
Yeah. Let's just change that up. Salvage that radius.
Yeah, think about that, folks. It's the radius. They got the radius, the geometric radius, from a refracted horizon. Let that marinate for about 2.3 seconds before you start laughing. That's how ridiculous this is.
Gets worse, though, doesn't it? You've, again, already broken this down quite eloquently. That refracted horizon is their refraction. You know what's in their refraction?
R.
Well, the R value that they're supposed to be measuring.
That's why I termed it the colossal, convoluted, circumdicular, crossway crackhead cretin circuitous crankshaft of the cycloidal psychotic centillium. I thought that was quite appropriate and apt.
I think you'll find Darwin came up with that first.
Are you saying I stole that?
No,
I seem to remember I was saying that.
Hilarious, man.
Yeah. You're overplaying it.
All right, let's roll, man. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go.
We see the bottom of the piers.
Right.
Where is the physical horizon that was covering it yesterday? The physical horizon that was covering it yesterday.
The horizon is behind it now. You see
so how did the physical get up? How did that physical horizon get up and walk behind the physical platform?
Again, the horizon is based on your height, right? The geometric expectations plus the atmospheric expectations. The horizon is not fixed.
But you just said it was physical. So if it's not fixed,
yes, that water in the foreground right there is a physical thing, and it's blocking.
But that's not fixed, though, is it? That will not stay that way forever at this height.
Again, your words are not coherent.
At this height, at this elevation, that blockage will not be there forever.
Right, because refraction changes the apparent radius of the Earth.
Oh, really?
There forever.
Right, because refraction changes the apparent radius of the Earth.
He just made that up. This is what I'm talking about, folks. That is preposterous. Let's start off with, so we got a twofer, Soundly, Geo Whisper. The horizon is based on your height, the geometric expectations, plus the atmospheric expectations. Number one, reification fallacy times 2, geometry and the atmosphere, which is an oxymoron, do not have or proffer expectations. Like I said, number 2, the atmosphere is a contradiction in terms. Atmo equals air. Air equals gas. Spheric equals a shape. However, the quintessential tenet or characteristic of gases is they don't have definite shape. From Chem Libre text. Like liquids, gases have no definite shape. But unlike solids and liquids, gases have no definite volume either. So, flatties, listen up. Every time they say atmosphere, stop them and tell them that it's an oxymoron. It's important. Don't let them get away with this. Number 3, the geometry is the radius which was ascertained by Al-Biruni, measuring the dip angle of the non-refracted geometric horizon. So, you bumbling buffoon of a bozo, here we go again. You cannot invoke terrestrial refraction, which at its foundational roots has R, ascertained by Al-Biruni, who based his calculations on a non-refracted horizon to calculate the geometric radius of the Earth, to explain a line of sight to the apparent horizon that is not straight but curved, and a refracted horizon using that frigging R. Because again, this just isn't your average circle jerk. It instantly becomes the colossal convoluted circumdicular crossway cretin crackhead circuitous crankshaft of the cycloidal psychotic centillium. I hope you got that. Soundly. The water in the foreground right there is a physical thing, and it's blocking. Spurs. At this height, at this elevation, that blockage will not be there forever. Soundly. Right, because refraction changes the apparent radius of the Earth? What in the great googly moogly did you just make up now? You're surpassing the shape-shifting poppycock bollocks made up horseshit on high on the evotards. The Earth is like, this is what it is. The Earth to the Baltards is like their own personal metaphysical jungle gym, which can metamorphose, bend and twist to fit any situation, and in direct proportion to any fluttering of their numpty-dum-dum neural connections and produce any Haddock hypothesis offspring from a numpty synapse firing orgy that would make Caligula blush. You bozos are certifiably insane. So refraction changes the not actual apparent radius of the Earth, eh? Ergo, that must make it the not actual radius of the Earth then. This is a joke. We're under a carnival tent, folks.
That's fantastic. So Soundly's now saying, just like we're saying, he's seeing the horizon in front of an object, and the horizon now walks behind the object, rendering.
No one here disagrees with the fact that that refraction exists, Chemo. I'm not sure what point you're trying to make.
I'm just clearing up that you're saying that the horizon is in front of the object, and then now it's behind the object.
The horizon appears to be in front. The apparent horizon appears to be in front, and appears to be behind.
That's fantastic. So Soundly's now saying, just like we're saying, he's seeing the horizon in front of an object, and the horizon now walks behind the object, rendering.
No one here disagrees with the fact that that refraction exists, Chemo. I'm not sure what point you're trying to make.
I'm just clearing up that you're saying that the horizon is in front of the object, and then now it's behind the object.
The horizon appears to be in front. The apparent horizon appears to be in front, and appears to be behind.
So it's like an orgy of appears and apparent, I suppose. Soundly Geo Whisperer. No one here disagrees with the fact that that refraction exists. The horizon appears to be in front of the apparent horizon, and the apparent horizon appears to be in front and appear. I screwed that all up. Let me do that again. No one in here disagrees with the fact that that refraction exists. The horizon appears to be in front. The apparent horizon appears to be in front and appears to be behind. Number one, oh yeah? Welcome to Flat Earth. So the apparent horizon appears to be in front and behind? Define painful redundancy. And let's take a look at this. Number 3. Thanks for debunking Al Baruni boobies and your religion's radius. Yet again. Absolutely priceless. Listen up, folks. The real gem. They collectively are too stupid to realize it. Psst. Baltards. Newsflash! Every time you say or imply a hopscotching, shape-shifting, refracted horizon, you immediately rip the cojones off your religion. Just to let you know. Because I know you don't know, because you just parrot it, right? Just to let you know. Let this sink in. Show this to your therapist. My word.
Okay. Soundly. You're up, my friend.
Well, I've just had 4 cheat sheets talk before me, so
No, but
let me try and put. I like putting it in my own terms because I do tend to favor intuitive explanations as opposed to technical ones because the technical aspects will never be appreciated by flat earthers. But basically, gravity is this set of observations that we see. You know, gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. That we see this behavior happening in reality. We call it gravity. We could have called it anything else. But the fact that this behavior occurs, and I'm not calling it a force intentionally because that's what they like to play games with that, but this behavior of reality occurs, we know it does, we're going to give it a name, we'll call it gravity. So to say it doesn't exist is just silly, because gravity does exist. We have real world actual historical measurements that show that gravity attracts gravity. That's what happens. That's the behavior of our reality. But ultimately, the truthiness of any theory is determined by its practical application, and that's where MC Toon was talking about building bridges. If it works practically, then the theory is good enough for now, and that's basically how science works.
Sure, we believe you. Gravity attracts gravity, huh? That's just one nonsensical buffoonery out of this. This is a joke. I'm not going to repeat all that. I cut them out. Number 1, soundly. I like putting it in my own terms because I do tend to favor intuitive explanations as opposed to technical ones, because the technical aspects will never be appreciated by flat earthers. What's the relationship between your own terms and your explanation being intuitive? Isn't that begging the question of assuming that you know what intuitive explanations are? You bumbling bozo. It's also non sequitur. I like the little backstab right here because never be appreciated by flat earthers. You know why? Because it's a stereotype fallacy. See, we have a diviner of complete strangers' appreciations in our midst. Must be those special Evo mind powers at work again, eh, Soundly? Have you considered carnival as a vocation yet? Number 2, you know gravity is the name we give to mass attracting mass. Keep that in mind, folks. We're going to strike on that at the end. Hey, pretender clown Dunning-Kruger retard is the name we give to diviners of complete strangers' appreciations who employ 3 fallacies in a single sentence. And you said gravity is mass attracting mass? Huh? Mass attracting mass is not gravity. From Martin Rees, distinguished astronomer royale with cheese. What causes gravity and mass? These questions still baffle all of us. So according to Professor Rees, does mass attracting mass cause gravity? Nope. These people just make it up. They're from MSU. And I love this. Define mass for us. So to say it does, this is from Soundly Geo Whisper. So to say it doesn't exist is really just silly because gravity does exist. Wow. That's amazing. So gravity exists because it exists? Huh. You pre-law by chance? Stanford? Harvard? We say it doesn't exist because there is no scientific evidence of it. Of course, you won't know that because you don't know what science is. We already established that. Number 3, gravity attracts gravity. That's what happens. That's the behavior of our reality. So, gravity attracts gravity, Professor. Does magnetism attract magnetism? Bumbling buffoon. But ultimately, the truthiness of any theory is determined by its practical application. No, retard. The truthiness of scientific theories is determined by experiment, and experiment alone. Mic discipline, please. Scientific theories explain the how and the why, the mechanism and the process. For example, germ theory. Scientific theories are the result of validated, confirmed scientific hypotheses that have been rigorously tested. I'm going to camp out and drop anchor right here. Scientific theories, bozo baltards. Pay attention to this. From Chemistry About, a scientific theory summarizes a hypothesis or group of hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. From Quarks to Quasars, a scientific theory consists of one or more hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. Mic discipline, please. From the University of Rochester Physics Labs, a scientific theory represents a hypothesis or group of related hypotheses which has been confirmed through repeated experimental tests. I have never in 5 years heard anyone, any of the ballers, define a scientific theory correctly. Not one. Here it is. All three essentially saying the same thing. Why? Because that's what a scientific theory is. But you don't know it. You never know. You just make shit up. We're going to bust you every time and then laugh at you. P.S. You'd fail 5th grade general science. Oh, this is classic.
Boy, that's real. So you're saying you created a model based on not actual reality and you got it to work?
No, I created an estimation.
So why are we using estimates to prove the shape of the Earth?
Chris,
because you can't understand. You can't understand the elliptoid. That's why.
Did you hear that? Let's hear it again.
Chris,
because you can't understand. You can't understand the elliptoid. That's why.
That's really funny, Sally. You can't, because you can't understand the elliptoid. That's why. Mr. Planet Orleans Paris. What on earth is an elliptoid? Please. Everyone would like to know what an elliptoid is. You should be institutionalized, man. Seriously. Fucking clown. Oh, I like this one. Little long. Be patient.
Soundly, why do your observations, are they constantly changing? Why are your building sizes constantly changing?
They aren't.
They absolutely are. That's a blatant lie.
No, they're not.
So when you look over Lake Pontchartrain 18 miles or whatever that is, 17, 18 miles, and Rumpus himself in his own documents used your evidence, and he's got a video that's squashed and compressed to hell at the horizon, and then the next separate observation, he's got it all.
You're talking about looming versus sinking.
Oh, so I said, why are your buildings changing shape? And you said they didn't. Now you're saying it's
they
looming.
don't.
So which is it?
The buildings don't change shape.
They optically change shape, correct?
They appear to shrink or loom.
Oh, why is that? Why is that?
Well, that's just basic optics, man. I mean, if you don't know that, if you don't know that by now, you need to. So if you don't know that by now, you need to go and study up, bud. So this is looming. This is looming and sinking. We talked about this 3 years ago.
So looming and sinking is the cause, right? That's what you just said.
Of course it is.
Okay. Thank you for the concession. I thought it was going to be harder than that, but that was pretty easy.
You're playing chess with a pigeon.
That was good. That was good, Chris.
It'd be harder than that, but that was pretty easy.
You're playing chess with a pigeon.
That was good. That was good, Chris.
Well, thanks for that little addition. We have Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, aka the photosynthetic redneck, Mr. Helper. They're playing chess with a pigeon. Really? So, in your little analogy, Red, Dave Rakia and Chris Berry are playing chess with a pigeon? Soundly? Thanks for recognizing and announcing what everyone listening to this charade you are already knew. Oh, by the way, good luck bobbing for pig's feet tomorrow at the Redneck Games. I know you'll make your cousin's sister prouder than a game rooster. Bozo.
It's really simple. All the observations that we have to date, even observations provided by flat earthers, match the globe. That's what our models are predicting. It's really simple. All the observations that we have to date, even observations provided by flat earthers, match the globe. That's what our models are predicting.
Soundly Geo Whisper, it's really simple. All the observations that we have to date, even observations provided by flat earthers, match the globe. That's what our models are predicting. Really? So this black swan photo matches the globe model predictions. Really? Well, the globe model prediction, or the globe reification fallacy, prediction is that the distance to the geometric horizon at 1 foot is only 1.22 miles. As we can see here in this photo, the horizon is well beyond 9.41 miles. We'll just say 10 miles. Does that match the globe prediction in your model? Doesn't appear so. So it looks like you're incorrect right here. Here's another one. Distance to the geometric horizon at 8 feet should be 3.46 miles. The second platform, platform habitat, by coincidence, ironically, the horizon is behind that at 10.10 miles. Does this match the globe model prediction? Doesn't appear so. And why are you peeling the models? Models are reification fallacy, sir, which you already admitted.
But to assume that the model is in fact what reality's doing underneath the hood is a reification fallacy.
Huh. You already admitted it was a reification. Why are you appealing to models and their predictions when you call it a reification fallacy? Can you define Dunning-Kruger doublespeak sewer ratness? The joke, sir. You're finished. Oh, you're finished a long time ago. Like I said, this is just gravy. Let's continue.
So the reason
you're saying that you're seeing the observations that our models predict, and then you're saying it's a flat Earth.
Your models don't predict that. Your models don't predict black swan. They don't predict black swan.
It absolutely does predict the observations that we've seen.
Really? So black swans predicted using the globe model?
I'm not talking about black swans. I'm talking about the observations that we've seen are predicted by our models.
Oh, except black swan.
The observations that you have seen are not ever observed.
You catch that last part? Let's play that last part again. That's pretty funny. Listen closely.
The observations that you have seen are not ever observed.
Did you get that? The observations that you see aren't ever observed. I'm sorry. Soundly Geo Whisperer, I'm not talking about black swans. I'm talking about the observations that we've seen are predicted by our models. See, back to the model reification fallacy predictions, right? Number one, this piker thinks Chris is talking about birds. I'm not joking. Number two, are there any observations that you don't see? Would they still be observations? Number three, like I said, models are reification fallacies, which you already admitted, and they don't predict anything. Soundly, Geo Whisper, the observations that you have seen are not ever observed. The observations that you have seen are not ever observed, folks. How you like that? My word.
And
So the
that
black
our
swan-
model, the globe model.
Oh God! So you're gonna
And
pause
that the
and
globe
keep
model
talking
has
5
been
times?
supported by the observations. I'm still talking and you're trying to interrupt me. So I'm continuing to talk even though you're trying to interrupt. So our model has been supported by the observations. Your model has been proven deductively false by the observations.
Yeah.
So that's the third time you said
So I
it in
thought-
the same sentence. Can
Yeah, I
Chris
didn't-
talk now?
Because he's not getting it or not confirming that
So,
he's understood
are
what I
you?
just said.
Do you know what the black swan observation is?
Dude, I've been in this game for 3 years. You think I haven't heard about this?
Okay, so then you're arguing.
In Chris's world, everything is made out of jelly.
Hold on a second, Brian. So you're sitting there claiming the black swan is a globe Earth observation based on the model.
Can you speak plain English instead of trying to play word games?
Hold on a second, Brian. So you're sitting there claiming the black swan is a globe Earth observation based on the model.
Can you speak plain English instead of trying to play word games?
Here we go with the word games, word salad, word soup stuff, right? Right? Because he got nothing. And like I said, he doesn't know what the black swan. He thinks that Chris is talking about a bird. Soundly with verbal diarrhea. The globe model has been supported by the observations. Your model, here we go again, has been proven deductively false by the observations. You can't support a fallacy, see reification above, by observations or anything else because it's fallacious. We don't have a model either. We don't do reification fallacies, by the way. Nothing is supported by mere observations. Absolutely nothing. Number 3, the black swan actual deductive logic, the Modus Tollens argument, pummels your fairy tale into the incoherent oblivion soundly. Here it is, Modus Tollens. This is deductive logic. Holy shnikes, this is going to leave a mark. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, P, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, Q. Not Q, because we see the black swan photo, it's greater than 9.41 miles, therefore not P. The Earth, not a sphere. That is cowbell. When I say deductive evidence, I give you the cowbell. You use it as a punchline. You don't even know what logic is. What a joke. Questions, comments?
Might be a reason for that really strange comment he made about observations that you see not being able to see. Is there any chance you can play the clip again? Make my conclusion if it's not possible.
Not possible.
Okay. Could have swore I heard GeoStreamer whispering him to him in the background.
You think GeoStreamer was whispering to him? No way.
I mean, if you dial down the audio, I reckon we should get, what's his name? Audio guy! Maybe he can tell us.
Audio guy, that brings back a lot of memories, dude. Yeah.
Look, guys, I wouldn't be surprised about Soundly. You know, he is like a team guy, so he does basically play an actor role as well in a team. He knows how to do that, so I'm not surprised, you know, if he would do that.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can't get it. 1 second. And Nathan's motivated me to go back here. 1 second. All right, here we go. Let's see if this is it.
Oh, it's that black swan.
The observations that you have seen are not ever observed.
Oh, it's that black swan.
The observations that you have seen are not ever observed.
Oh, it's that black swan.
The observations that you have seen are not ever observed.
All right. That's it. Did you hear it?
I could swear I could hear GeoStreamer in between the not for observed when referring to observations? I could swear I could hear him.
Where's Audio Guy when you need him? All right.
Observations that you have seen have never been seen.
Yep.
I've been in this game for 3 years. That stood out to me. Yeah, he's been in the game for 3 years. Asked about the geometric horizon. Oh yeah, whatever that is. I don't that word soup.
Welcome to 2020, the year
Bro.
of the horizon you can't see.
That's what it is though. He came back to, oh, we don't see the geometric horizon. So he can't even acknowledge that he understands the black swan. That's why he tells Chris, oh, could you speak English? What? Chris spoke perfect English. I don't understand what this is. Just go back wherever you came from, bro. I don't know. It's over for you. Just listening to you.
Into the swamp. Back to the swamp.
It's projection. So when he says can't see these observations that you're seeing, it's actually a sort of subconscious untangling of his own cognition, because he's projecting the fact that he's got a horizon that can't be seen or measured. It's being seen measuring fucking boats. So it's projection. He's telling Chris the situation he is in. You have got observations that you can't really see. That's his situation, isn't it? It's projection.
Yeah, I don't know. We might want to keep the diagnoses. Obviously, he's projecting, but this is so far beyond clinical level. It's scary after the first 4 points, as we've seen. Wait till you hear this last section. Hey, before we get to that, I want to shout out a super chat from Flat Earth Data. He says, how does Perth in Australia see a sunrise southeast to southwest on a ball? Does the Earth tilt 8 degrees more for Perth? It's at 32 degrees. Earth tilt is 23.4. Thanks a lot, Flat Earth Data. Appreciate it.
Isn't that accounted for by them with declination, though?
I have no idea how they account for it. I don't think they even know what. Go ahead, Adam.
Long bit, but at the beginning there was an admission, I think, a little bit of word salad, that there is the apparent radius changes. We say that we in court, all else fails, revert to MSU, which is what I heard he did, which is, he threw that admission away, and suffixed it with the apparent radius. Again, I don't think if you think that's a clever way out, yeah, it tweaks a little bit. You look at the black swan, and I knew there was a reason I worked this bloody formula out. That apparent radius he's talking about, that he's just passing off and, it just moves a little bit. But if we go to the black swan and we use the formula where R is equal to 2640 times the distance to the horizon squared divided by the observer height. And, I think, is it from here to the moon, Nathan? Becomes the R value.
It's it's 206. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's 264,000 miles, Adam.
That's to put it in context. Just hold on one second, Adam. Just to put it for the audience's benefit into context, it's a little bit further. You plot out what they have as the heliocentric model with the Earth and Moon system. The orbital path of the Moon would become equivalent to the equator line. Further than that, but just so you can visualize it. Now, if you've got any concept of how far out they claim the moon is in the heliocentric model, that would be how big the ball is. It would be slightly bigger than how far they claim the moon travels around us in a circle. That's how big your Earth would be. So we're soundly saying, no, you carry on, Adam, I won't take your thunder.
That is exactly, it's the way in which you cast that off, and the informed or timeless. We'll pick that up as and hopefully, from a baller's point of view, accept that as if that's absolutely fine. The magnitude of his hand wave dismissal. So if you use that formula, you can use it on whatever. It doesn't have to be the black swan, but the black swan does, that example, magnify what a level of ignorance that hand wave signifies. And quite rightly so, because the last thing you want is deal with that, the implications of how what that does in terms of the geometry to a ball. The initial assumption is it doesn't make much of a difference, but it's huge.
So between the lines, when he's saying moves, it's going to change its positioning and it's apparent, and the apparent radius changes. It's like, okay, read between the lines. So when it's being utilized to block things with its physicality, it's just when it matches up, right? In other words, when it suits them, as opposed to it actually being a physical sphere edge. Because when you point out how it can't be, they say, oh, well, it moves. Until we need it to block boats and buildings, that is. So it's now it's got to the stage where defense of the black swan highlights overtly the contradiction that is the globe. It's beautiful, in fact, because we don't have to do a great deal anymore. They just open their mouths and contradict how they don't have a physical geometric sphere edge to block boats and buildings, and it was formerly called Earth curve.
If you kind of apply that mathematics, Nathan, as you look at it and you say there's only a sweet spot where the maths ever meets up for their whole Earth. So the reality, even in their excuse, for Al-Biruni to have got anything other than a perverted thing, and it's the standard deviation you can get, as we see in the pictures, the variance of your new R value based on this horizon so vast that it becomes mathematically nonsensical to claim that could be calculated or got so close as well. Get me? It's so a sweet spot, as you say, to try and match up to theirs.
Use a slightly different word. I say untenable. The mathematics, when you calculate out how far that physical geometric sphere edge would be, he says apparent radius in his terminology. Well, it's so far beyond the physical capabilities of a sphere, it becomes untenable as a model. Now, the result of that being untenable is that they say, well, we don't have a geometric horizon. In other words, you wouldn't get such a monumental concession out of them unless it was devastating, which it is. It leaves them without a physical geometric sphere edge tangent point horizon, commonly known as Earth curve, to make the geometric assertion that Earth curve's blocking things, and when it doesn't quite match, use that said R value that they can't measure, doesn't exist, you can't get within 5% of it because it can't be measured or seen. It leaves them descending into farce when they argue about something being capable of blocking something but simultaneously never being seen. Because we don't have to do a great deal of work, but that's thanks to the black swan. Yay!
Hey, speaking of returning to the swamp, Mike, discipline, please. Speaking of returning to the swamp, we got a super chat shout out to Dave Rakia. I'm on Discord mood, and I don't know why. Soundly made my backyard curve. Thanks, Dave. Anything else before we continue? This will be the last part, by the way.
For the audience's benefit, the person that left the last super chat deals with levels all day long and has to level out concrete and make things level. Being level is generally his business, just so you know.
Anything else? Final call? Now we have Reverend Soundly, the Bible scholar.
And that we can't understand the plain verses of the Bible like it's this a weird, esoteric, mystical text.
Right.
No better than Zohar.
If your translation does not reflect what we know as factual truth about reality, it is false. You are deceived.
Well, then you're
it is
saying
not
God's a
from the
liar,
Holy
and
Spirit.
that can't be
Period.
soundly. God is not a liar.
And that we can't understand the plain verses of the Bible like it's this a weird, esoteric, mystical text.
Right.
No better than Zohar.
If your translation does not reflect what we know as factual truth about reality, it is false. You are deceived.
Well, then you're
it is
saying
not
God's
from
a
the
liar,
Holy
and
Spirit.
that can't be
Period.
soundly. God is not a liar.
Soundly, if your translation does not reflect what we know as factual truth about reality, it is false. You are deceived. It is not from the Holy Spirit, period. Let me translate this. If Holy Scripture doesn't reflect what Wiki, Discovery Channel parroting pseudoscience say, then the Bible is mistaken. See, all this right here is cod swallop horse pucky bollocks called eisegesis. That's where you interpret the word of God through man's lens, right? This is strictly verboten. Third grade Bible school. My word, sir. That's going to get stupider.
God's not a liar. God's not a liar.
God's not
The
a liar.
person, the spirit inside of you that's telling you that this is the correct interpretation is the liar.
No,
That's
four
what I'm
corners.
saying. You have the wrong spirit there.
Four corners mean four corners. Firmament means firmament. Yes? Pillars mean pillars.
And there are clearly parts of the Bible that are metaphorical. Clearly,
Who's telling you this stuff?
Scholars agree with this.
Wow, that's profound. Scholars agree that the parts of the Bible are metaphorical, right? That's amazing. Like, swimmers agree that swimming pools exist. Spurs, four corners mean four corners. Firmament means firmament, yes? Pillars mean pillars. Soundly. And there are clearly parts of the Bible that are metaphorical. Clearly. Scholars agree with this. Number one, incoherent red herring fallacy. That is irrelevant diversion. Of course there are parts of the Holy Bible that are metaphorical, but Spurs didn't mention any metaphors in his examples. Number two, we don't need to ask scholars if there are parts of the Holy Bible that are metaphorical. Ask any third grade Sunday schooler and they'll confirm it for you. Number three, you said there are clearly parts of the Bible that are metaphorical, right? So, what are the other parts, por favor? My word. You see what he's trying to do, right? It's clumsy.
So the Song of Psalms, you're telling me, is all to be taken literally. Is that what you're telling me? So the Song of Psalms, you're telling me, is all to be taken literally. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what he's telling you, Soundly, because he never mentioned the Song of Songs. Never mentioned it. You just conjured it so you could burn it down. A clumsy straw man. Soundly. So the Song of Songs, that's the Song of Solomon, by the way, you're telling me is all to be taken literally. Is that what you're telling me? Like I said, straw man fallacy, clumsy one. Spurs didn't say that or even remotely imply it. So where'd you get it from? Right? Because you don't have anything. You're just making shit up.
I think that God has made us reasoning and irrational beings, and that's a reflection of Him, and that we should use our own wits and reasoning to try and understand. But it's also the height of arrogance to say that I absolutely know what this metaphorical verse means. I think that God has made us reasoning and irrational beings, and that's a reflection of Him, and that we should use our own wits and reasoning to try and understand. But it's also the height of arrogance to say that I absolutely know what this metaphorical verse means.
Soundly. God has made us reasoning and rational beings, and that's a reflection of Him. That we should use our own wits and reasoning to try and understand. But it's also the height of arrogance to say, I absolutely know what this metaphorical verse means. Number one, another incoherent red herring fallacy. That's an irrelevant diversion. Again, Spurs didn't proffer any metaphorical verses. Number two, there are over 200 rhetorical devices figurative speech techniques, not examples, types used in Scripture. The meaning of 99.99999% are explained in detail within the very same passage or other parts of the Bible. You see, folks, what this numpty dipshit is clumsily attempting to insinuate or float is that since there are metaphors in the Bible, therefore nothing written therein can ever be actually understood. That's what he's trying to float. He's trying to grease the skids with this nonsense. Apparently, he got his Bible acumen from evotards or us.
John, before you move on that page, there's just something in me, mate. That little bit there is a Masonic Luciferian description. How they view the Bible, that you can take scripture, but you have to use reason overrules it. Sure, that's a good summary of Masonic, say, Luciferian point of the Bible and how you use it by Luciferian reasoning.
Yep. Yes, sir. You're correct. But you see what he's trying to do, right? It's really clumsy. I, as an adult, he's saying this. I mean, I knew this way, way back in the day, right? You take the metaphorical verses metaphorically, and you take the historical, literal narrative literal. The literal things literal, and the metaphorical things metaphorical. Like I said, all of these, it's been my experience that they're explained within the very same passage, right? What he's trying to float here is so mind-numbing, and it's basically what the evotards do. They do this same thing. It's the same thing. It's just repackaged. Let's continue.
Or that I absolutely know that God wouldn't let the writers write from the context of their perceptions in the moment. If you're just a human being and you haven't been to space and you don't have the advantage of NASA and you're just writing about, hey, I see the sun come up in the east and I see it set in the west, of course you're going to use that sort of language. We even use that language these days. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. We even use that language today, and that doesn't mean that we have to take it literally. And I think them writing in that sort of language makes complete sense because they're writing from their perspective. And I don't think that God meant this book to be a scientific journal. You know, that's not what it is. It's about the people that and their experiences in their lives, and the Bible may be inspired by him, but it doesn't mean it doesn't write about what humans were doing in the Bible.
This is so clumsily stupid. I'm sorry for playing this for everyone to hear. I have to do it so you can hear what he says, but I'm not going to play this nonsense over again. Soundly, I don't think that God meant this book to be a scientific journal. That's not what it is. It's about the people that in their experiences, in their lives, and the Bible may be inspired by him, but it doesn't mean it doesn't write about what humans were doing in the Bible. What does that have to do with anything? What does just gibberish have to do with anything? Number one, straw man fallacy. Nobody claimed the Bible was a scientific journal. Nobody said anything. You wouldn't recognize it anyway, Soundly, or any of the ball-tard bozos, because you don't know what science is. Number two, the Bible may be inspired by him. Nah, no maybe about it, sir. Was with absolute certainty. 2 Timothy 2:3-16. All scripture, all of it, is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. All scripture. Number three, it's an overall red herring fallacy to the topic again. It's irrelevant. It doesn't have anything to do with the topic. This is hilarious.
Like, who was it? Was it King David? Wasn't it King David that ended up like putting a husband on the front lines and having him die in the front lines of a war so that he could have his wife? You know, like that's not what God wants us to do, obviously, but that is what happened, and it is in the Bible. So, I mean, to just read everything in the Bible and go, oh, that means that there's 4 corners on the earth. Well, it's silly. Does that match up with what we actually know about reality? No, it doesn't. Okay, well, then it must be something else. It must be metaphorical, and there's probably a deeper meaning that we're missing by trying to make it literal. When you try and make certain parts of the Bible literal, you actually lose the actual message that's being sent to you.
This guy's delusional. He's like a 3rd grade numpty delusional retard, man. Soundly, wasn't it King David that ended up like putting a husband on the front lines and having him die on the front lines of a war so that he could have his wife? You know, that's not what God wants us to do, obviously, but that is what happened, and it is in the Bible. Profound. To just read everything in the Bible and go, that means there's 4 corners on the earth, well, that's just silly. Does that match up with what we actually know about reality? No, it doesn't. Okay, well, then it must mean something else. It must be metaphorical. And there's probably a deeper meaning that we're missing by trying to make it literal. When you try to make certain parts of the Bible literal, you actually lose the actual message that's being sent to you. Number 1, so let me get this straight. You're using a literal passage, King David, to refute literal renderings. What are you doing? Do you think that you've perhaps, and I'm just spitballing here, lost the friggin' plot? Number 2, is the 4 cardinal directions a mismatch with reality? Ezekiel 7:1-3. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God unto the land of Israel, the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. Mike, discipline. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. Revelation 7:1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. In Jewish tradition, the 4 corners are associated with the 4 archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, and represents the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. Duh. Oh, my Lord. Here we go.
Your literal interpretation isn't the only literal interpretation. Especially, let's talk about what you just said, the earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Well, we're used to thinking of seals as 2-dimensional things. We're used to thinking of seals in that particular context. But why would God be limited to that? Why can't he have the same exact equivalent, but just a dimension higher? Like, why can't...
But it's not about God being limited. It's about what God did.
Instead of that seal, well, it says like, which is right away is a key that it's metaphorical. So instead of that seal being 2-dimensional, why can't it be a 3-dimensional seal?
Let's play this one again. This is good.
Your literal interpretation isn't the only literal interpretation. Especially, let's talk about what you just said, the earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Well, we're used to thinking of seals as 2-dimensional things. We're used to thinking of seals in that particular context. But why would God be limited to that? Why can't he have the same exact equivalent, but just a dimension higher? Like, why can't...
But it's not about God being limited. It's about what God did.
Instead of that seal, well, it says like, which is right away is a key that it's metaphorical. So instead of that seal being 2-dimensional, why can't it be a 3-dimensional seal?
You guys get that? I played it twice. Hopefully you got it. Okay, I'll say it again. Soundly, Geo Whisperer, your literal interpretation isn't the only literal interpretation. Especially, let's talk about what you just said. The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Well, we're used to thinking of seals as 2-dimensional things. Really? We're used to thinking of seals in that particular context, but why would God be limited to that? Why can't he have the same exact equivalent, but just a dimension higher? It says like, which right away is a key that it's metaphorical. So instead of that seal being 2-dimensional, why can't it be 3-dimensional seal? This guy is delusional. He just makes up stuff in his head and then argues that straw man to death. This is really scary, guys. Number one, literal. This is from lexico.com, from Oxford Dictionaries. Literal, representing the exact words of the original text. So, the only way two or more people can have a different literal interpretation is if they define the words differently. That's the only way. Number two, unbelievable, from Grammarly.com, while both similes and metaphors are used to make comparisons, the difference between similes and metaphors comes down to a word. Similes use the word like or as to compare things. Life is like a box of chocolates. That's a simile. In contrast, metaphors directly state a comparison, like love is a battlefield. You don't even know what a metaphor is or a simile. You're a clown show, and this is delusional. Number three, seals and signets are 2-dimensional. Numpty dipshit. When you say either height, width, or depth in this reality, you immediately invoke the other two. Immediately. There are no 2-dimensional seals or signets. You're on crack. And finally,
gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. We don't know what gravity is, like what the underlying mechanism is. We have no idea. Gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. We don't know what gravity is, like what the underlying mechanism is. We have no idea. Gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. We don't know what gravity is, like what the underlying mechanism is. We have no idea. Gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. We don't know what gravity is, like what the underlying mechanism is. We have no idea. Gravity is the name that we give to mass attracting mass. We don't know what gravity is, like what the underlying mechanism is. We have no idea.
thanks for your ear. Have a nice day.
Adam, what did you mean, or what were you implying with your comment about satanic, Freemasonic way of speech? Want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, just a little bit. I was watching something this week, and it was literally specific with regards to a specific viewpoint of higher degree Masons, how they Lucifer as the light giver, view Lucifer as an equal God to Jehovah, but why they still the Bible and overreaching principle that Lucifer gives is the reason and can overrule logic of Scripture. You can out-reason it. It was just it's odd, synchronistically, why you watch things like that. It just like called me bell when John read it, that it was a very odd viewpoint to take Scripture, because if you're going to value it, you value it as it is. To value it and then give that perspective, that's a perspective that matches up with what I just described.
Very interesting.
Anything else? Let me shout out a couple super chats. Flat Earth Data again. Thank you, sir. We are all early educators and scholars lied to by God on the shape of the earth. I think we're all early educators and scholars lied to by God on the shape of the earth. Was he lying to all the world back then? No. The ball was taught by the Roman Catholic Church. Got that right. And finally, Unitox Femu. Kavina Academic want to prove Globe Monday at 2 UK. Let me say that again. Hopefully I'll get this right. Kavina Academic want to prove the Globe Monday at 2 UK. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that, gentlemen. Anything else? There's not too much to say about this. I mean, like I said, after the first couple, the rest of it was gravy. He made his own bed. I don't see soundly. If you come out here, like I said in the beginning, and people are listening to you and you're explaining, open up a gumdrop wrapper, and people are actually paying attention to you, I'd be severely shocked. No, I wouldn't be shocked because we have baltards out here. They'll listen to you, right? But you're finished. You can't recover. Thanks.
Yeah, I had no idea Soundly was this bad. Like, these were all pretty good examples of just really, really going into blasphemous territory and just, like, being upfront with it. Like, yeah. Like a real wizard does. So I kind of called it without even realizing it. Damn. And yeah, well done on the research.
Yeah, shocking surprise that he's not in here. I sent out invitation. I know Spurs gave you the invitation. I gave it to Spurs. You can come on in here. You're on Discord. There's plenty of open spaces in here, and you can come and try to defend any of the mess that I went over, because we'd like to hear it. I'll give you the floor. I'm embarrassed for you. All right. This is a Ballbusters. We're dealing specifically here with Soundly. Now, you can come on in, right? And you can give your comments, questions, any claims. If you want a white knight virtue signal for this numpty, you're freely welcome to do so. Let's go down the roster. Arwen, any thoughts, final thoughts on Soundly here?
Well, just that it seems to be a lot worse than I even thought. And yeah, I can't imagine anyone would want to defend him at this point, even on the baller side. Like, why would you do that? He's obviously just doubling down on too much weird shit and just getting too crazy.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I was good at the geometric horizon, whatever that is, that word salad, word soup, whatever. I was good then. Like you said, everything else was just icing on the shit cake. So, yeah, I don't know where the guy's at really in his mind or in this argument, but I guess he's got catching up to do or something. I don't know. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir. We have, despite everything, sir, you're off mute. Or ma'am. Thanks for coming. Dr. Crypto, what's up, sir? Thoughts, concerns, comments?
No, just enjoying the show.
Thank you, sir. I know Elijah wants to say something. Elijah, I can't wait to hear that mic, man. Thoughts, concerns, questions? Smart move. KTB. Thoughts, concerns, questions?
Not right now, no.
Thanks for coming. Corrido beater? Thoughts, concerns, questions? Thanks for coming. Neil, what's up, brother? Just a talkative bunch today.
Come on, Neil.
Dave
Hey, he's still
Rakia.
red.
Hold on. Dave Rakia. You're off moot, but you're still on moot. Thanks, Dave. Rebel, what's up, sir? How's it going today? You're off moot.
Hey guys, hey, doing great. Thanks for excellent show. That was great fun to listen to. Keep up the good work, Kiwi.
Thank you, sir. I will. Rob Keane, comments, questions?
All right, so both Soundly. The Soundly claim to be a believer in the Bible. There was a lot of scripture, and I heard Soundly talking a lot about scripture, but kind of backhandedly, in my opinion.
I didn't catch the first part of your statement. You want to say that one more time?
Soundly, does he claim to be a Bible believer?
I think so. Yes, sir.
But it just all of his comments about the Bible seemed very backhanded and without context of actually understanding the concept of what he brought up.
Yes, I agree.
I think he knows nothing about Christianity and not even speak on the Bible. That's all I'm going to say.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Staggerly, comments, questions, concerns?
Hey, nothing really more to add, QE. Show. Thanks for the great arguments, man. I use these daily on people in my family. Just make the arguments concise. So just want to say thanks.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Cracko, cross, comments, questions.
I only accept the name Rumpus. You're a psychopath. Calling me that. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know where Elijah went, but Elijah, if you can hear me, he did ask you a question. Rude. But no, yeah, comments. Apparent horizon, geometric horizon. How did they get the R value when this is used exactly? Alberuni. That song's brilliant. It needs to be a mixtape. Love all the work you're doing, QE. I think you're absolutely fucking great. That whole circle jerk expressionism that you used earlier was fantastic. Keep up that sort of stuff. But there was one comment that someone stated earlier. I don't know if it was a super chat to basically do with what was the last super chat? Was it to do with Jesus or the Bible?
1 second.
Thank you, sir. The skiing thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
the last super chat was, excuse me, it said, you might have been talking about the one before this, but this said Kavina Academic, and this was from Unitox Femu. Kavina Academic want to prove globe Monday at 2 UK. Are you talking about that one or the one previous to that from Flat Earth Data?
I'm not entirely sure. It's the one that referenced God or the Bible.
Oh, this one said, we're all early educators and scholars. I'm sorry, this is from Flat Earth Data. We're all early educators and scholars lied to by God on the shape of the earth. Was he lying to all the world back then? No. The ball was taught by the Roman Catholic Church. That one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So yeah, it was indeed taught with the missionaries from the Roman Catholic Church. You know, obviously we know these as the Jesuits. If anyone wishes to look into that further, I don't know if you endorse this, QE, but there's a guy called Migmag. Something that could take you a year's worth of research in a 28-minute video. Very informative. But you know, people often say that to me. Well, would Yeshua have just come out, or Jesus come out and said, yeah, well, the earth is flat and that would have settled the matter, right? Well, no, it wouldn't have, because guess what? Who is it that's been in contest with us? They call us liars on everything. So I feel God is so intelligent that if he was to have given his only begotten son word to say the earth is flat, then that would actually add more validity to the atheistic side in their trance-like states, to be able to be like, well, yeah, well, Jesus said it was flat, so guess what? It's definitely not flat. So I feel that God left it open to us in order that we use modern day observation, science, scientific method in order to prove their bullshit as that fucking bullshit.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
Okay, I'll tell you how I really feel.
No, man.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, QA.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Listen, we're going to wrap things up. Looks like Soundly's not coming in. We're going to go through all the ball busters with final thoughts. Anything new coming up with them individually, channel shout outs and such. Arwen, who is on deaf and mute. He definitely didn't hear that. Chocolate, you're up, sir. Oh, Chocolate. This is going to be a quick wind up.
Yo.
Hey, any final thoughts? Anything that you're doing coming up, and just anything to finish out?
Oh man, not much from here. Just chilling. Good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Rest in peace, Soundly, and the geometric horizon, and all whatever you said. Word salad, word soup. That's just awesome. Yeah. Shout out to you, Nathan Oakley. Shout out to 24/7, Flat Earth Discord 2.0. So that's it, man.
And shout out to Betty's
good
server, where we're broadcasting from. Flat Earth Debate, Science versus Pseudoscience.
That one too.
Betty, unfortunately, couldn't be here today because the back nine was a little bit more challenging on the midget golf course today. I hope you had fun, girl. We miss you. The Adam Meekin, sir.
I'll just say thanks to both Spurs and you, and for demonstrating that there's very little rebuttal, and also, tonight showing analysis of the responses, that there's little comprehension still, I think, of the Black Swan. For that, or they are, as Spurs said, running away, because it is devastating to everything they've entered and supposed. Obviously, it's a bit of alliteration there from myself with P's at the end.
Mm-hmm. Any channel shout outs?
Yeah, of course. Over to Iron Realm Media. I'm also pimping around on BALLBUSTERS, but also see me on Really Woke Show, and Roxanne's channel, and Really Woke Show, and 007's channel. It's all the same show. So that's like Wednesday, Fridays, sometimes. Cheers.
How's that presentation coming? Remember the presentation that we were talking about?
Yeah, it's coming.
Cool. Let me know, sir. Yeah.
Shortly after the second wave, I'll have it ready.
Say that one more time. I didn't catch it.
will be shortly after the second wave, the corona wave. I'll have it ready shortly after that.
After the what? no.
Don't ask him any more questions.
Don't ask him any more questions. Yeah, I'm not. All right, sir. Hey, appreciate it, Adam. Thanks for coming. Nathan Oakley, sir. Take us home.
I suppose it's only down to me to reiterate the point soundly because he didn't understand, and it's only fair. I mean, he has made it clear he didn't understand what the word salad of the geometric horizon was. Well, you know, if he doesn't now know what it is, let me reiterate. It's Earth curve soundly. Thing that you say we don't see, but also blocks buildings. Yeah, that little contradiction in terms Earth curve, mate. A massive thank you to Quantum Eraser. Be here or be sphere at 9 p.m. UK time on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, as I will release Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. So check it out, Be Here or Be Sphere. Massive thank you to everyone in the live audience, and of course a massive thank you to all of the Ballbusters and public participants in Betty's Discord server, which is Flat Earth Science versus Pseudoscience. I've been Nathan Oakley, and massive thank you to Quantum Eraser for hosting the show. This is Ballbusters.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Soundly. You can't recover. Rest in peace.